school.
There is zero statistical significance.
Because nobody can figure out what's being said here right now. No, there is no last thing right now. We're going to go to...
The show began like any typical morning segment, but tension was palpable from the first moments. Co-hosts Alyssa Farah Griffin and Sunny Hostin immediately clashed over schools, sparking a debate over public versus private education and who deserves funding. What was intended as a routine discussion escalated quickly into an intense confrontation. Alyssa drew on personal experience, sharing her perspective as a parent, while Sunny leaned on data and research, creating a collision of emotion and statistics that set the stage for a chaotic exchange.
This has been studied. In 2020, a 2020 study found that only about half of states with voucher programs require teachers to have a bachelor's degree, require teachers to have training, require teachers to have licensing, require participating in private schools.
If I may get in, just to make it a conversation.
But because I have children and because I looked at
I went to public school. I believe you got to go to private school.
There is zero statistical significance.
You got to go to private school.
As the debate intensified, both women refused to yield. Voices overlapped, and arguments grew sharper, leaving the studio buzzing with tension. Sunny held up a 2020 study highlighting that many voucher programs didn't require teachers to hold bachelor's degrees or proper licensing, emphasizing accountability in education. Alyssa countered with personal stories from her experience in public schools, advocating for choice and parental autonomy. The dialogue quickly spiraled into a tug-of-war, with neither side able to maintain a calm conversation.
And we're having a conversation.
Yes.
And we're going to go back to it. But before we do, I just want to say, this is the beauty of people who have different opinions. Sometimes it's messy. We're going to go back to the convo.
Moments when Alyssa will say something that I disagree with. There are moments more than I think that she'll admit to. She really disagrees with me, but we leave it at the table. It's never personal, and that's how we do it. And I love that about her. I love that about our show.
The conversation deteriorated into near chaos, with both women talking over each other, leaving viewers confused and unable to follow a single coherent point. The studio atmosphere mirrored the disorder on screen, as frustration mounted and the discussion became less about policy and more about dominance. The moderator repeatedly attempted to restore order, but the raw intensity of the moment made it clear this was no ordinary exchange. It was a test of control, patience, and composure in live television.
Now we're going to go to break, and then we're going to come back.
Yes.
Because you can't. What's happening is no one can hear anything anyone is saying, so everybody has to
on it, so we can talk.
Well,
that goes for you too. I don't really enjoy owning the libs or smacking them down. I want to hear from them and I want to learn, and I'm going to disagree, but we're going to try to find the things we can agree on, and then there's going to be some where we don't, and that's how most.
At the peak of disorder, Whoopi Goldberg intervened with authority, halting the back and forth with her firm declaration that there is zero statistical significance, and nobody could understand what was being said. Her voice cut through the noise, bringing immediate control and prompting the audience to react with nervous laughter and relief. This intervention prevented the argument from spiraling further and highlighted the critical role of a moderator in managing live debates between strong personalities.
My argument is that we should try our very best to treat people without regard to race, both in our personal lives and our public policy.
Of course.
And the reason I wrote this book, thank you. The reason I wrote this book is because in the past 10 years, it has become very popular to, in the name of anti-racism, teach a kind of philosophy to our children and in general that says your race is everything. Right? And I think that is the wrong way to fight racism, and that's why I wrote this book.
Socioeconomics picks out people in a better way than race. When you do look at the socioeconomics, you see the huge disparity between white households and black households. You see the huge disparity between white households and Hispanic households. So your argument, and I've read your book twice because I wanted to give it a chance, argument that race has no place in that equation is really fundamentally flawed.
After the commercial break, the mood shifted. Whoopi reframed the earlier chaos, reminding viewers that strong disagreements could coexist with respect. Alyssa and Sunny listened as the moderator emphasized that passion didn't equate to personal attack. The tension remained, but a fragile structure was re-established, allowing the co-hosts to continue their conversation with a renewed focus on dialogue over dominance, showing the transformative power of skilled moderation.
In the black community, if I'm being honest with you, because I want to be, believe that you are being used as a pawn by the right and that you're a charlatan of sorts.
He's not a Republican.
So how do you...
He's never voted for a Republican.
You've said that you're a conservative.
No.
No, you did. You actually said that in the podcast that you did 2 weeks ago.
I said I was a conservative.
Yes, yes, you did. So, but my question to you is, how do you respond to those critics that believe co-opted? And so many in the black community, if I'm being honest with you, because I want to be, believe that you are being used as a pawn by the right and that you're a charlatan of sorts.
He's not a Republican.
So how do you...
He's never voted for a Republican.
You've said that you're a conservative.
No.
No, you did. You actually said that in the podcast that you did 2 weeks ago.
I said I was a conservative.
He's not.
With Whoopi's guidance, Alyssa began explaining her perspective calmly, emphasizing choice for parents rather than attacking her colleague. Sunny maintained her focus on accountability and education standards, presenting data without interruption. The conversation transitioned from a shouting match into a structured debate, with both women balancing their passion with restraint. The audience could now follow the arguments, appreciating the interplay between personal stories and statistical evidence.
You are a student of Dr. King. I'm not only a student of Dr. King, I know his daughter, Bernice, right? So I'm going to get to my question.
Go ahead, go right ahead.
I think the premise is fundamentally flawed. You claim that color blindness was the goal of the civil rights movement, based upon Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech, content of character versus the color of skin. King's daughter points out that 4 years after giving that speech, actually, Dr. King also said this: a society that has done something special against the Negro for hundreds of years must now do something special for Negroes. He also said in 1968, it was about less than a week before he was assassinated, this country never stops to realize that they owe a people kept in slavery for 244 years. So rather than class, he did write about that earlier on. Right before his death, he made the argument for racial equality and racial...
Despite calmer tones, an undercurrent of tension remained at the table. The clash was no longer chaotic, but it retained the raw energy of strong personalities asserting their points. Each co-host was determined to be heard, and the audience felt the intensity as they navigated their positions with precision. The dynamic between emotion and evidence kept viewers engaged, demonstrating how live television thrives on both conflict and control, with every gesture and tone holding meaning.
One is whether each racial group is socioeconomically the same. That I agree with you. They're not.
They're not, and the stats show that.
But of course, I agree with that fully. The question is, how do you address that in the way that actually targets poverty the best?
Great.
And what Martin Luther King wrote in his book Why We Can't Wait is he called it, we need a Bill of Rights for the disadvantaged. And he said, yes, we should address racial inequality. Yes, we should address the legacy of slavery. But the way to do that is on the basis of class. And that will disproportionately target blacks and Hispanics because they're disproportionately poor. But it will be doing so in a way that also helps the white poor, in a way that addresses poverty as the...
Throughout the segment, Whoopi observed quietly, letting tension build before intervening at critical moments. Her presence served as a stabilizing force, preventing the debate from derailing. She reminded the panel that failure to listen, not disagreement itself, was the real issue. By framing the chaos as a teaching moment, Whoopi illustrated how structured guidance and patience could transform even the messiest exchanges into instructive, compelling television.
For the Negro. That's from the book Why We Can't Wait that I just mentioned.
Yes.
A couple paragraphs later, he lays out exactly what that something special was.
Yes.
And it was the Bill of Rights for the Disadvantaged, a broad class-based policy.
But he also says you must include race.
No, he didn't. He says it's
Yes, he does.
Okay, well, everyone should go read the book Why We Can't Wait. I don't think I've been co-opted by anyone. I've only voted twice, both for Democrats. Although I'm an independent, I would vote for a Republican, probably a non-Trump Republican if they were compelling. I don't think there's any evidence I've been co-opted by anyone, and I think that's an ad hominem tactic people use to not address really the important conversations we're having here. Better for everyone if we stuck to the topics rather than make it about me with no evidence.
But I want to give you the opportunity to respond to the criticism.
I appreciate it. There's no evidence that I've been co-opted by anyone. I have an independent podcast. I work for CNN as an analyst. I write for the Free Press. I'm independent in all of these endeavors.
The co-hosts began to demonstrate a balance between fiery debate and mutual respect. Alyssa emphasized understanding opposing views while maintaining her convictions, and Sunny listened more attentively before responding. The contrast between emotional narrative and data-driven argument created an engaging tension. The audience witnessed how disagreement could be contained and guided, showing that verbal sparring didn't have to collapse into chaos when handled with skill and awareness.
There are a couple of people, I don't even know who they are, maybe you know
Robin DiAngelo.
Robin DiAngelo,
Yeah.
Ibram Kendi, for instance.
Okay. Well, you say that is just another form of racism, and you even say it has a lot in common with white supremacy. How can you compare those two things? You talk about anti-racism, you're comparing it to white supremacy.
Because they both view your race as an extremely significant part of who you are. So white supremacists, they obviously say, we all know what they say, okay? Neo-racists like Rob DiAngelo, they say that to be white is to be ignorant, for example. Well, this is a racial stereotype, and I want to call a spade and say this is not the style of anti-racism we have to be teaching our kids. We should be teaching them that your race is not a significant feature of who you are.
The segment ended with a reflection on the nature of live debate. Whoopi highlighted that disagreements were part of the show's DNA and that passion, not animosity, drove the conversation. Both Alyssa and Sunny demonstrated that it was possible to clash publicly while leaving differences behind once cameras stopped rolling. For viewers, the exchange was more than drama. It mirrored real-life conflicts in families, workplaces, and communities, showcasing the delicate balance between confrontation, respect, and authenticity on live television.